Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Renewal Center's Tea Time Tuesday. We're so excited that you all are here with us today, and welcome September. This is our first tea time for the month of September for 2025, and we're so excited that you are joining us. First of all, we want to say good afternoon. Good afternoon, Monique. Good to see you. Good afternoon, and the top of this beautiful day. It almost feels like fall already, even though it's still summertime, but we hope that you all are enjoying your Tuesday afternoon. We want to ask everyone to take a moment to subscribe to the Renewal Center's YouTube page if you haven't, and share this with others so that they can join us today. Go call your colleagues, ask them to join you, or your friends, so we can enjoy a wonderful afternoon of I got a little tongue tied there. All these years now, I'm tongue tied. Pausing, resetting, and building resilience. Hello, Crystal. It's good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I'm so excited. This month brings us with an awareness that I'm really excited about, and that is Self-Improvement Month. And so Self-Improvement Month brings us to a place of motivating ourselves to change or to upgrade or to just do the things that will enhance our personal growth. You know, we talk about that in so many ways here at the Renewal Center, whether it's financial, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, doing those things that can sharpen ourselves this month in our competencies and in our skills. So if you're ready to turn over a new leaf or you want to go beyond yourself and do something even more to enhance, this is a great time to start on those goals. Hello, Sharon. It's good to see you. This is a good time to start those goals. Make sure that you are at a place you can like our broadcast. Please give us a thumbs up so that we can encourage others to join us to listen into the broadcast. So we are so excited. Yes, I see that you're traveling. We hope that you have traveling safe mercies there, Sharon, as you're out there on the road. And so if you can, find out what you have today and some of the other tea timers in our community of what kind of tea you're drinking. What kind of tea do you have today?
I have my chai latte, so I'm on that right now.
Okay, your chai latte.
Yes.
You're trying to bring fall in quickly, aren't you?
A little too fast, yeah.
Okay, that's all right. That's a good tasty tea. And we have a good tasty tea for everybody for our tea of the week. It is rosebud tea. And so for those of you who like floral teas, rosebud tea is a really good, delightful tea. It's very fragrant herbal tea that's originated from China, Egypt, and Persia. It's commonly made from the red rose or the pink rose flower petals or the buds. And so those are used to steep to make a nice hot tea. Again, it's very aromatic, very fragrant, as you can imagine. And the longer that you steep the rose tea, the better it tastes, the stronger and flavorful it becomes. So we are very excited about rosebud tea. I love rosebud tea. That's one of my favorite teas. It's very soothing. And it's just a really nice tea. And so we see that Monique has water. All right, Monique. You over there hydrating yourself today for Self-Improvement Month. Hi, Nita. It's good to see you. You said your co-counselor are tuning in. Oh, well, we welcome your co-counselor. Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. Patrick and I are so glad that you're here with us today.
Yes, absolutely.
And hello, how are you doing, Aunt Nisi? Thank you for joining us. Crystal, you got water too? Okay, wonderful. And Vanita has water too. So this is great. Welcome. We're glad that you all are here. Let's get in a position, if we can, to locate ourselves. So if you're new to Tea Time Tuesday, this is why we're here. We're going to stop. We're going to pause, kind of relax our shoulders, and do some self-improvement. Do some self-care about right now. We're going to sit and just relax, take some deep breaths, and calm ourselves. So let's tune into the video. Uh-oh, I was muted there. Thank you all for joining us. I could have gone a little bit longer than Patrick.
Yeah, that was relaxing for sure. Let's do one more. Let's do a few more seconds.
Yes, let's do a few more seconds.
Let's do a
Yes.
few more seconds. Yeah. We need to do that. Just a few more. All right. Yes.
Thank you all for joining us for that time of locating ourselves. We're going to let Patrick take it away with our renewal practices.
Thank you, Carmela. That was very refreshing. Welcome, everybody. Please let's get the likes up, if you will. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I want to welcome everyone where we pause, reset, and build resilience here at the Renewal Center's Tea Time Tuesday. So good to have everyone. That's right. Oh, thank you. Joining me in chai. Thank you so much. You didn't leave me out there with water today. Hello, Charlie says, well, good afternoon to you as well. Please share this. Please like this. And for all of those that are replaying, welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. I want everybody to put in the comments the word flow. The word flow. When you think about the word flow, today's tea time is about establishing a flow. When you think about establishing a flow, we're going to kick off the month of September about establishing a flow. So when you think about a flow, what comes to your mind? Go ahead and get your journal out and let's pause. And when you think about the word establishing a flow, what comes to mind when you think about the word flow? Carmela, any thoughts on that? When you think about the word flow, what comes to mind? And tea timers, please feel free to put your answers in the comments and let's engage in this. And then we're going to talk about, we can kick off this month about establishing a flow. Thoughts do you have there?
I thought about movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you said establishing a flow, I thought about steady movement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Steady movement.
Steady movement.
I saw your gesture. Right.
Yes.
And that's how life should be. That's how our day should be, but sometimes that's not how it is.
Right.
That's sometimes not how it is. We got a couple of answers coming in here. Charlisa says consistency. The A says consistent. All right, we'll take the next one.
Perpetual movement from Monique.
Okay. All right. So feel free, folks, when you think about the word flow, establishing a flow, what comes to your mind? And I want to give us a common definition to get our renewal practice established, why it is important for us to establish a flow. And what does that mean when you think about it? And then perhaps I want to introduce some research to you today to help you individually establish a flow. And then this is something that you can use as a framework as it relates, perhaps if you're leading others or you're developing a team, flowing, how the importance of flowing. So when you think about the word flow, when we think about this as it relates to pausing, resetting, and building resilience, this is when you are completely immersed in an experience and you're not distracted by anything else. You're completely immersed in an experience. You're not thinking about or distracted by anything else. Your ego will dissolve at that moment and you become a part of what you are doing. For example, if you're on a phone call, somebody calls you and they want to talk to you. And as soon as they talk to you, they start having a conversation with somebody else while they're supposed to be talking to you. That's not a flow. They're not in a place where, oh, hold on a second. And then they start having a full conversation on the side. And you're like, you know what? How about just call me back when there's a flow? There's a flow in the conversation. And so sometimes what happens is in our lives, professionally, personally, we don't establish a flow when it comes to concentrating on being making progress, Carmelo, or being productive in what we do. And the reason is because we got too many distractions. There are too many things that are pulling on us that gets in the midst of our flow. Sharon says steps. Okay. All right, folks. When you think about the word flow, what comes to mind? And hopefully with that fresh information, your thoughts are doing that. So one of the things, I think it was Bruce Lee, he said, become water. So he was like, be water. So in other words, know how to flow. And then he was talking about martial arts and the importance of flowing when you're in a sparring situation. I was like, okay, I remember him saying that. So when we think about flow, we're talking about the importance of not being distracted. The importance of not being distracted. It is about being completely immersed in the experience where you are. So the word immerse is important to when we think about flow. The word immerse is important. The word things like images like water, that's important. And I want to get your perspective on that and why it's important for us to establish a flow. All right, some good words coming here: rhythm. All right, another one: consistency. Right, all those are important to us establishing a flow. So I wanted us to just lay the foundation. When we're talking about establishing a flow in the month of December, it is about learning to be completely immersed in that experience, right? Some of us, Carmela, even when we're eating food, we're so focused on what we got to do next, we just rush through our lunch. We
That's
rush through
right.
our dinner. We don't even taste the food. We just hurry it up. Again, that's not a flow. So we're going to start small with small things first so that we can start building a perpetual movement, steps, consistency. I'm just using the words that are out there, rhythm, consistency. Folks, that's what we mean. And I want you to think about an area of your life and you can answer this question. What do I need to flow in? What am I doing right now that lacks flow? That I can grow in the flow of things. That's what I want us to concentrate on today. All right. Another one's coming in, Carmela, laser focused. All right. It's interesting how when we think about flow, all these images and these words come up. And so that's the focus for our renewal practice for today. I'm going to bring up a couple of slides and I want to give you a few renewal practices to help. So number one, knowing what to do. That's number one. Knowing what to do. Sometimes we don't have a flow, it's because we don't know what to do. Our minds are on other things. So as a result, we don't know what to do. If you're new to something, I don't know what to do. It's hard to get a flow when you don't know what to do. So the first thing is if you're walking into a circumstance where you're unsure, many times it's not going to flow because you don't know what to do. It's just like if we're going to sing something or we're going to play something musically, I don't know what we're doing. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. If you go into a meeting, you need to know what you're doing. If is there an agenda, you need to know what you're doing. What are you doing with your day? Right? Knowing what to do is so important to establishing a flow. We got to know what to do. And I know this may sound simplistic, but I think if we're going to achieve a state of flow, we need to know what to do. There are times where when I've entered new roles, new spaces, if I wasn't clear, and don't feel bad or have self negativity if you're asking more questions so that you can get into a flow. That's important because when you're asking questions to know what to do, not that you're not capable, you just want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing in that particular role or that moment or that function so that you can establish a flow. So knowing what to do is important to set the foundation or the tune or the tone for what we're going to be doing that's next. Carmela, any thoughts on that? About the first renewal practice today, as far as knowing what to do. And then the next one is knowing how to do it. So it's not only knowing what to do, but it's also knowing how to do it. And these two are, I would say, are the foundation to get flow established in our
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about the three words that you were saying just a few seconds ago: foundation, tune, the tone of it. I think what jumps out the most for me is paying attention. It's
Mm,
about being present. So if we want to
mhm.
establish a flow, like you gave that example about somebody, you having a conversation with someone on the phone and they're distracted. They start talking to someone else. Um, you know, uh, their attention is taken away to something else. So the person on the phone, you don't really have that person. You don't give that person an undivided attention. There's not a
Yeah.
flow in the conversation. There probably won't be any effective feedback because you really don't know what the person is saying. And so I think it's about being present. Being in the moment. If you're going to learn something, knowing what to do and how to do it, it takes being present and paying attention. Like Monique said, razor focused. If you're focusing on that aspect of a conversation or whatever situation you're entering in, you're giving your full undivided attention, then I
Yeah.
think that you can develop a rhythm.
Good, good.
Just
Well,
my
yeah, and I thank you for sharing that, because I want everybody to understand every task, whatever it is, it has a set of rules. There,
yeah.
there's a set of skills that we need to follow up on them. So when I talk about from a renewal practice perspective, knowing what to do is what you're choosing. You're choosing what you're doing, and then how to do it, which would be the competencies or the skill sets to complete it. So you don't want to assign yourself a task that's too difficult for you and you don't have the skills to complete it. The ideal is to find that middle path. That's the ideal. Here's the choice. Here's what I'm doing, knowing what to do, and then I'm moving into the space of here's how to do it. And this helps you actually develop new skills. But in your current job or profession, what have you, if you want to learn how to establish a flow, you
Right.
want to know what to do, choose that task, knowing what to do and knowing how to do it, because that helps you with your skills development and skills enhancement.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes we like to challenges through the end because we like the feeling of pushing ourselves to grow and expand. So it's important that if you're going to enhance a flow, you first got to know what to do and you got to know how to do it. So the first two things that we want to establish here is knowing what to do and knowing how to do it. And I want to encourage you this month to make a decision about something that's going to take you out of your normal comfort zone. That way, you're growing. For example, if I enter into a new role or new responsibility, or if I'm in a current role where it's requiring a different emphasis, perhaps take one task and say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, so you can measure your own growth. That's how you
Mhm.
build self affirmation anyway. You start
Mhm.
measuring your growth, you start seeing things change, you start being able to see measurable progress in reasonable time because you're not all over the place.
Mhm.
You're targeting knowing what to do and you're focusing on how to do it. All right, T timers, you out there, let me know if this is helping you. Put in the comments flow again. Want to make sure you're connecting. So again, you want to choose a path. That's knowing what to do, choose a task, knowing how to do it, because I want to encourage you for September to become your month of flowing. All right. If you choose something that you have a clear, concrete objective, that's what helps you grow. All right. Number two, let's go to the next one. Knowing how well you're doing. Knowing how well you're doing and knowing where to go. Knowing how well you're doing and knowing where to go. Hmm. These are two important ones. Right now, what I'm learning to do is as I'm entering into new roles, I was like, okay, I'm going to have, first of all, develop relationships. Secondly, make sure I understand mission and vision. Thirdly, making sure others understand that. So I've been spending time concentrating on that so that I can have a benchmark of measuring, am I being successful? Do I know how well I'm doing? Have I developed some benchmarks? Or we would call those in learning and development objectives. Having a clear objective. When I have a clear objective, that helps me achieve a flow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right.
But and then it also lets me know when I need to leave it behind because I've achieved that objective. And so now it's like, okay, I made it to this point. Now let me set something else, another objective. Let me increase this objective. And that also helps you with reinventing yourself. You reinvent yourself by setting fresh objectives. That helps you reduce boredom many times or the monotony of work that we do by going back in and saying, okay, maybe I need to rethink about the objectives that I have. This might be a good time to do that as you reset objectives. That gives you the ability to enter into a flow in a different way. So we need to know not only knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, but also knowing how well you are doing and you know where to go. Mm-hmm. So it's important. You might have a mental block and you're getting unstuck. Well, what am I trying to do? How am I trying to get there? How do I know I'm doing well? And do I know where to go? Where's the navigation? All right. Otherwise, you can lose focus as a result of that if you don't know how well you're doing and knowing where to go. Carmela, any thoughts on this? When you think about knowing how well you were doing or knowing where to go as far as navigation as relates to establishing a flow. Any thoughts on that?
Yes. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because going back to presence and paying attention. But if you look at 3 and 4, those are checkpoints. I don't know if you're into, like you said, goal setting, but you're talking about like even reinventing yourself. There has to be a place of like number 3, knowing how well you're doing. Well, that's observation, that's self-awareness. You're paying attention. You're present, and you're taking a look at yourself. You're taking a look at where you are, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then number 4 is another checkpoint, knowing where to go. Knowing is having, and I like how you were saying, you have your well, I'll go to say, you know where you're going in navigation because you have clear direction and you have steps and outcomes. Again, that's checkpoints. That's being present. That's paying attention. You're paying attention enough to know, well, where do I want to go? What does this vision look like? So now I'm going to establish some clear direction, some clear instructions, some steps on how to get there. I know my outcomes. So these are checkpoints. But in order to get to a checkpoint, you have to have some observation of what you want and where you're going, and then some self-awareness about where you are in the scheme of that, in the flow of that. I think that's where the flow happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. When you have clear direction.
Which is why we need objectives. And this helps us with the reinvention. Folks, it's also, you want to concentrate on a single thing. Don't get into this point where you're trying to do 3 or 4 at once. Just one thing. Okay? No. Knowing what to do.
Right.
No multitasking. Stop it.
Right.
If you do everything, no. Knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, knowing how well you're doing, and knowing where to go. But this is not about having all these different tasks, just one area.
That's good.
Measurable progress, reasonable time. I know sometimes people call it swivel chair. It's like here, then here, then here, then here. Don't swivel chair it. Just one. That's it. A ping comes, get to it later. Not everybody's urgency is your urgency. And if it's constant urgency, you need to figure out, why is this constantly urgent?
Right. That's a good point.
Why is it constantly urgent? Am I allowing this person or this situation to get to the point where it is urgent? Right? You know that the faucet is dripping. Go ahead and start tightening up. Well, I'll get to it. Drip, drip, drip. A week later, drip, drip, drip. Now it's starting to look rusty. Now you're starting to see how it's impacting the sink. Oh, I'll get to it. It's not a big deal. Drip, drip, drip. Now you got a whole flood of stuff coming out. See, that's what happens when we don't focus on flow.
Yeah.
So again, friends, tea timers, this is important. We're talking about establishing a flow, but I want you to concentrate on knowing what to do, one area, knowing how to do it, knowing how well you are doing. How are you measuring that? Knowing where to go. Navigation is critical. Let's go to the last couple of points here. Perceiving significant challenges and perceiving significant skills. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have skills that you need to enhance. So you want to perceive any challenges that might be coming and say, okay, I recognize this is a challenge. And so now that I recognize it's a challenge, it puts me back in power to improve my skill sets to handle the challenges. That's what I do. I know that, okay, here's a challenge that I'm facing that helps me frame the questions I need to ask and who I need to ask so that I can continue to grow and enhance my skill sets. Any thoughts? See, shake your head. Anything you want to share on that?
Oh, I went in, excuse me, you guys. I went into coach mode for a moment. I started thinking about preparedness. When you said perceiving, that word perceiving, it's like you're in a state of being prepared. You're ready to see what's going to happen. You know, what could come up. And that makes a big difference. So I like those last two.
Yep. We got to get into the place where we know what to do, but know the challenges. Well, not but, and know the challenges, and know how to perceive significant skills. What do we need to sharpen? What do we need to refine? What do we need to continue to use? We that sweet spot, as somebody would call it if they're an athlete. I've hit my sweet spot. That's my place of flow. So it's important that we understand significant challenges, significant skills. All right. You know this being a person that plays piano. Once you've learned those scales and you work on those on a consistent basis, regardless of where you are in the challenges of music, once you get the rudiments and the foundations there, you'll be good to go and continue to expand yourself. So we want to make sure, folks, if you're going to establish a flow, let me recap again, know what to do, knowing how to do it. Those are key. Those work together. Then, knowing how well you are doing. And once you know how well you're doing, what you do is you continue to refine it. You repeat it. You duplicate it. That helps you expand. Your capacity enlarges when you understand knowing how well you're doing. That reaffirms your mindset. You know where to go. You know where to get the answers. You know how to resolve problems. You know how to generate solutions. That's important. So it's not a matter of just skill sets. It's a matter of knowing how to continue to use those skills in the right way. Because some people have the right skill sets, but their capacity is not there because they're not looking at how do they look at significant challenges so that they can utilize their significant skills or perceive new ones that need to be developed. Let's go to the last two. Here is the last one. Being free from distractions. Everybody write this down because you know this is true. Being free from distractions. This is a big one. Because either you have a focused mind or you have a wandering mind. And when you're in a flow, everybody, when you're in a flow, I want you to write down in the comments, live in the present. Live in the present. When you're in a flow. When you're in a flow, you don't live in the past and you don't live in the future. You live in right now when you're in a flow. You're in that flow. So you're not thinking about what happened was or, what's going to happen. You're focused on living in the present. That's the power of of flow, sustaining flow, comes from the inability to being free from distractions. All right? You're free from worry. Your concerns about daily life and the people around us don't invade our thoughts anymore. When you are in a flow, you know what happens? Hours just go by and you're like, oh my gosh, because you've been in the flow. When you're not in the flow, you're like, oh gosh, when is this going to end? That's how you know you're not in the flow. You're not in the flow and you're like, I just can't wait to get off, or oh, this is not. When you're in a flow, the hours just fly by because you're in the moment, you're in the present, versus you're looking at every minute saying, I can't wait, I got a countdown because I'm ready to go. It seems endless when you're in distractions. When you're in a flow, Carmela, you're in control. You're not you're able to complete a task and not feel the super urgency overwhelming you. Or
Yes.
you start wondering, why am I taking on other people's tasks? I was asked that recently. Can you do this? And I was like, well, who's asking and why? Well, I mean, I guess the person didn't like my question, but I was like, who's asking and why? I really need to know. Not that I'm going to say, well, that's not part of my role. No, 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 no. I need to know that I'm not taking on something that's going to interrupt my ability to flow and manage how I'm engaging my objectives and my outcomes. Otherwise, what happens is I start acting without being prepared. And that's important with the kind of roles that we have. Everybody putting there, live in the present. There it is. Good, good, good. Live in the present. Carmela, any thoughts when you think about this last renewal practice as it relates to flow? How important it is in establishing a flow, being free from distractions, not just externally, but also internally?
Well, one of the things I wrote down is, which was as you were speaking, what came out of my mind initially was some of the same things, staying present. And staying present means that you are making progress in real time, Because if you're distracted by, like you said, what was or what happened, or you're even distracted about well, what's going to be the outcome right away, you miss the opportunity for progress in the moment, right there in real time. And so I think it makes a big difference. Going back to what I was saying earlier about presence.
Yes.
Really makes a big difference. It's like you're focused on what's going on right at that moment, paying attention. Because distractions, you could automatically say, if I'm paying attention, okay, wait a minute, that's a distraction right now. But if you're not paying it attention, you might lean into the distraction and like, well, I got caught up in that. So now we lost out on an opportunity to make progress in real time.
And don't call it multitasking. Oh, I'll get back to it.
That doesn't work.
It's going to take on something else. And you really haven't measured your effectiveness even in the previous action that you were working on. Okay. The whole focus of this, folks, is to help us establish a flow where we could concentrate on how we're growing and how we're expanding ourselves and improving ourselves and increasing who we are, sharpening our skill sets or improving our serve happens by concentrating on establishing a flow. And I want you to think about one area in the month of September. And if you want to put it in the comments, feel free to put it in the comments. But what's one area that you says, I'm going to improve my flow in this one area, and just concentrate on that for the whole month. Don't try to hurry up to the next things. Give yourself a good 30 days just to concentrate on one area to improve your flow. Or you may do it over the next 2 weeks or the next 2 days or what have you. But what I'm saying is that the goal of establishing a flow starts out with knowing what to do. What am I working on? What's my specific area this is what I know what to do. I've selected the task. I've selected the action. I know how to do it. And if I don't know how, I'm going to work on asking questions and getting the help I need in the how area. Then I'm going to concentrate on knowing how well I'm doing. How do you know that you're doing well? What's the actual benchmark or the measure that you use that you've achieved success in a particular space? Do you know where to go, or do you know where to go as far as for help or for insight or for input? Do you know where you're going with it in terms of the end game? What about your challenges? Have you perceived the challenges, and have you perceived the skill sets to resolve them? And then lastly, of course, being free from both not only internal, but also external and vice versa. Again, friends, this is what's going to happen when we learn to establish a flow. This also helps you get down to business when you need to leave something. All right, I've camped out in this area too long. I've got the objective. Okay, now it's time to move on because that helps you, friends, get unstuck. Well, Patrick, how do you know this? Because I'm working on it right now. I'm working on it right now. Things that I know I need to get done, things I need to concentrate on, and working through these 7 areas helps you get established in a flow. Can I also say one last thing? Work in an environment where you will not be distracted. So what does that mean? Turning off your digital device. The world's not going to end tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just turn it off. Minimize it. Say, I'm not going to look at it. Here between X time. And also I want to say this, another thing, Carmela, you need to know when your energy is at its best. Like your creativity. Is it 6 a.m.? Is it 9? I tell my team, don't plan a planning session at 2 o'clock. You're not going to get the best out of me at that time. I just know. First of all, probably just 8 or 8 late. So now, I'm like, okay, this is not the time for me to, but if you catch me at 6, 6:30, 7 in the morning, it's going to flow. And once you know where the timing of when you have the most energy, the most creativity, the most innovation, that's when you protect yourself from distractions in those times. And then I get a reboot later in the evening. Then it just comes right back up about 7, 7:30. I'm ready to go again. But between 2 and 5, I can sit there and listen. I can take notes, but that's not the best time for me. And you got to know when your time is for you. You got to know and know how to build the environment that you will know you won't be distracted. If you know you're at home and there's a lot going on at home, then you need to find a different space.
A different spot. That's right.
Because you got to find out if your surroundings continue to distract you. You got to keep looking until you find that right place. All right. I'm going to calm here. I'm going to hear from you, T-Timers. What are your takeaways today about the flow? Perhaps what are you working on that you want to improve your flow? What resonated with you today? Perhaps something new that you didn't think about before. But I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on these areas one more time. Again, knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, knowing how well you're doing, knowing where to go. Is it in this area? Is it in this area? Perceiving significant challenges so you can perceive significant skills. And then also being free from distractions, both externally and internally, which helps you establish a flow. Would love to hear from you, T-Timers, your takeaways, your responses, how this has helped you, an area that you're going to focus on in establishing a flow. Carmela, what thoughts do you have just overall? What's resonating? What's pointing out? What are you thinking through?
Well, you asked what our takeaways were and what one thing will you work on and all of those things. But I wrote it down and circled it, and you kind of touched bases on it. And for me, sticking to systems that work. Sticking to the systems that work. That is one of the biggest things that is going to create a flow to keep you from being distracted. If you stick to systems that work, then you're more likely to stay in that perpetual flow, as we heard earlier. But if you don't stick to systems that work and you're doing this, and you're doing that, then it's a way of pulling you out of it. And you want to make progression. You want to progress. And so I like the fact that out of all of this is helping me to remind me to stick to systems that work.
Mm, mm. That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. We'd love to hear from you, tea timers. What are your takeaways? What jumps out to you? What are you going to work on? That one area that you says, I'm going to focus on establishing a flow in that one area. All right. I've got some things I'm working on that's going to help me get coached, developed, what have you in those areas so that I can see the next 3 to 6 months. I can go back and say, okay, how did I know that I've achieved it? And so those are things that I'm going to be working on. What about you? What is that one area specifically? Mine right now is strategic because I got to think about my responsibilities, but would love to be able to help you with that. What are some of your takeaways? While we're doing that, just want to come up with a few of our announcements. Want to start with tomorrow, Carmela. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Reforming Culture. We invite everyone. We're kicking off our new series for this year. We always start in September. We're going to be learning the Christology of spiritual foundation. And I'm telling you, you want to really be in the house. You want to be a part of this. These will be every Wednesday at 7:30. Reforming Culture is through Zoom. So we encourage you to go ahead and sign up and get your notebooks ready. Come ready to learn about this series. It's going to be all the way until May of 2026. So this is about biblical study. And so you really want to learn foundation. And this is a great place to come at the Renewal Center Reforming Culture. This coming Friday and every Friday at 6:30 a.m., we will have morning prayer. We have just really been in such a place of extraordinary posture of hearing from God and praying collectively. So we invite you to come. There's the Zoom link. It's the same link that we have for Reforming Culture. And then you don't have to turn your camera on. You could be in your prayer closet or just be in a place of prayer. This is a great place to come. So we invite you, and we'll see you at 6:30 on Friday. We're going to be having a Women at the Well Bible Study series this coming Saturday, every first Saturday of the month. We encourage you to invite every lady that you know that would be interested. We're still studying Cynthia Hale's book. Actually, this is our second book study. We're in chapter 4, and we invite you to come and join us at 10 a.m. for virtual fellowship. And then following that, we will have Bible study at 10:30. We are looking forward to you showing up. And of course, every Sunday is Digital Discipleship, New You. This is going to be our live broadcast coming up this coming Sunday. Of course, every first Sunday, we go to worship live here on YouTube. And if you'd like to join us, you can even join us on Zoom. That's how we air. We'll be airing live through Zoom into our YouTube channel. And so that's every first Sunday. And then every Sunday after that, we have New You Digital Discipleship, and that is through our Zoom time. So sign up and join us for worship. So we're excited to have you. You have something else, Patrick?
Oh, no. I was just saying, absolutely. This is good. I just wanted to thank you for those announcements. We look forward to seeing you Wednesday evening. Please go to all of our social media sites to sign up for that, for Reforming Culture. If you have not already, we'd love to see you on Wednesday. And again, ladies, definitely look forward to what you're going to be doing on Saturday. And we'll see you Sunday as well. I want to thank everybody for being a part of our Tea Time Tuesday. I want to encourage you to donate to the Renewal Center, to partner with us, to consider partnering with us. We're a nonprofit organization. We would love you to consider donating and being a part to help us grow, to help us expand, to help us to continue to achieve our vision. If Tea Time has been a strength to you today, please feel free to go to these various ways that you can digitally support us financially here. You can go to our website, therenewalcenters.com/give. If you have the mobile app downloaded, you can give through the mobile app as well. You can text Renewal Center to the 888 number there. Also, we have PayPal and Zelle. The Renewal Center 2020 at Gmail. We have Venmo, which is at Renewal Center. And then we also have CashApp, which is Cash Renewal Center. You can mail a check or a money order to the P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina 28026. So I want to thank you so much for your consideration in supporting us and helping us improve what we do. Hopefully this has been a strength to you and a value add to you today. in our tea time as we pause, reset, and we build resilience. All right, let's see a couple of takeaways. Not being a jack of all, but a master of one. All right, sharpening your skill set in a particular area. Thank you, Paulie. Hey, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, what are your takeaways, everybody? Here you go. You want to read these, Carmela? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Charlisa, she's chiming in. She's saying, allow myself to remain in the present and enjoy the movement forward. Thank you for a great session. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Monique, she's saying, focus on one thing at a time.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nita, she's saying, work on freeing myself of distractions.
All right.
Her takeaway.
If your co-counselor's there, tell her hello. And if she wants to, or he wants to share any of their takeaways, feel free to type theirs in there as well. We'd love to hear from them. All right. Thank them and let them know thank you for sitting in with you today. So again, thank you everybody for being a part of our Tea Time community. We'll see you next week. All right, for our next Tea Time. Looking forward to you being a part of us. Make sure that you establish your flow. Establish your flow in the month of September. And we're going to pause and reset and build resilience by just locating ourselves for a few seconds. And we'll see you next time on all of our programming. Thank you so much for being a part of our community today. And we'll see you next time.